Hey, what's going on, guys? And welcome to the Raw Report, episode 16.
Ooh.
And we're finally in an in-studio podcast. I'm with my co-host today, Santana. And we're coming to a very exciting week 14, guys. And before we get into the start of the show, make sure you hit the like, subscribe button, drop a comment, and hit us up on Instagram at Raw Fantasy Sports. And as I mentioned, very exciting week 14. And I think we're going to start the show with the latest headlines, which is Kyler Murray, torn ACL. He's basically done for the season, man.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to really put it in other terms. I mean, if the Cardinals can hang in there, that would be great. But to this point, I don't think they got much of a shot as for contention, I would say.
No. They're at 4-9. So no. At this point in time, it's about just gathering to see what you got, what's good, moving on to the next season, and what's bad, and draw it up from there. But it sucks to see that Kyler Murray's out. I know it had a lot of fantasy impacts. He was projected to do a good amount of points. Didn't even do that. First drive of the game.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna heavily rely on James Conner moving forward. And I think he's going to be a big-time workhorse, especially moving into the later weeks now that we got 15, 16, 17 coming up. And he's going to put up those points in fantasy, I feel. I think he's going to come through for fantasy owners in the playoffs, which I believe most leagues are well on their way to the playoffs. Our league in particular, this is our final week of the regular season. And week 15, and we're finally getting here into the playoffs. A lot of teams have clinched themselves. So congratulations to everybody that made it out there. But as far as the Arizona Cardinals go, I think they're just going to rely heavily on their running game. I don't see their backup quarterback taking them anywhere or going in any form of run late in the season. And it's unfortunate. It was a non-contact injury for Kyler Murray. And it was within like the first minute of the game. But as we know, he's been very inconsistent, especially since that Call of Duty came out.
You have to say
bro,
it.
I mean, come on. He's just obviously distracted, and this is just bad luck, man. So hopefully he'll bounce back in the off season, and let's see what happens in the new coming season, and see what he got left in the tank with the Arizona.
But wait, it gets worse. Not only is that bad news for Kyler, on fantasy owners, but it also spells trouble for Marquise Brown and DeAndre Hopkins owners as well, especially to the ones that held out all season for all those suspensions, hoping that, because Kyler Murray was going to throw the ball to Hopkins. You knew that, and you banked on it. And now it's a dud. Marquise Brown, a dud. And how do I know that? Because I call Marquise Brown in one of my leagues, and now I got to look for another viable receiver. That's how that goes.
Same thing. You got Hollywood Brown. Everybody was waiting for the return of DeAndre Hopkins.
Zach Ertz is out too.
I believe they got Robbie Anderson, as W3 on the team.
That was a waste of a waiver wire.
I mean, they had things going for them, but unfortunately, Kyler Murray had been very inconsistent as the last couple of weeks, and this could not have been perfect timing, I guess, for the underperforming Arizona Cardinals. One thing that I like to bring up, and this is something that caused tremendous fiasco in this last week for all fantasy owners. This is something that rarely happens. And as we know, things just kind of occurred. We just got, finished concluding a very crazy COVID season where even in our league, we had to implement brand new rules, certain exceptions in the event that a player would be randomly sick before game time, and that would give you a last minute emergency substitute. And this is no less. T.Higgins was supposed to be on an injury report, allegedly was supposed to be on an injury report, and he was not supposed to start this game on Sunday
at all.
So the man played one down, and then they said something about a hamstring injury, a hamstring tweak or whatever.
That's how they had to dub it.
And and then he never came back in the game. And again, this man was supposed to be on an injury report. Fantasy owners were not supposed to start this man, but since they never got an alert, since it was never declared before the game, He ended up starting the game, and he ended up playing it down, and he ended up giving no points to any fantasy owners. So, this is very interesting moving forward. What do you do in the event that this happens? What do commissioners of every league, what do you guys politic that should happen in the event that, hey man, there's an astronomical error going on here? And as we all know, these players, these coaches, they don't care about fantasy football, but I know a lot of you guys are having a lot of money riding in some of your leagues and a lot of prestige. So I mean, moving forward, I think, we got to come up with some sort of solution to that.
That was a big mess up, because a lot of some leagues their week ended this past weekend, and I'm pretty sure it always comes down to, like, how every year it always comes down to somebody or a few managers battling for that last playoff spot. And it's unfortunate if one of those managers had T.Higgins, because on the report and on the app it shows he's good to go, and he really wasn't supposed to be out there in the first place.
Yeah,
Goose egg.
I played somebody. I played somebody this weekend that had T.Higgins as a start, and they got 0 points for them. You know what I mean?
And it could be critical.
It's unfortunate, man. I mean, what is it that we can do here to improve the play, on these platforms? And I think, if a commissioner can make an exception for a lineup edit, maybe that could be up for discussion. But that's something that your league might have to decide themselves. They got to vote on it, very much like our league. It's a democracy. We all discuss this. We have big meetings about it. We all vote on it. We hold elections on these things. And it should be something interesting for us to decide in the offseason.
No hard feelings. Sometimes the league votes yes, sometimes they vote no, but hey, that's the option, and that's how it goes.
Yeah, man. So hopefully this doesn't happen again, but it's getting very random out here, and maybe that T.Higgins incident doesn't happen again. Moving along, I'm hearing a lot of movement the last couple of weeks regarding OBJ, and we've seen a lot of rumors.
The man is a masterful liar. This man just held the league ransom for weeks, talking about, like, yeah, I'm ready, let's go, just to show up all fancy in the shop podcast, talking about, well, player caliber such as myself can only play in meaningful games. Let's be real. Odell, what would your mama say about what you just did? Come on. What, I can only play in the playoffs? Well, it seems that kind of backfired on him, because all the teams that were rumored or in contention for him have obviously signed other people. Shit, the Bills brought a man back out of retirement. So there goes that OBJ to Buffalo. They brought out Cole Beasley, right? Except for the white cap. And then they also and then T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. to Big D. Let's see how that goes there. Dak is out, that's a flowing offense. So that could be a waiver wire consideration, even though man hasn't really played. If you're in need of receiver, that's something to look at if he's available still.
Yeah, I heard a lot of rumors. First and foremost, the Bills and Cowboys, to be very specific here. So the Bills just finished signing Cole Beasley, who decided to randomly come out of retirement right now before the playoffs, and then Buffalo immediately signed him, okay? So up to this point, all of the visits that the teams that OBJ visited had been very quiet, except for the Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys end up signing T.Y. Hilton, okay, who is kind of like a washed-up receiver. He's a veteran receiver, no disrespect, all right? He's done his work in the league, but he's way past his prime. And they signed him immediately as well. Jerry Jones came out saying and talking about, speaking about on OBJ's injury. And he said he wasn't confident at all. And they stand by their decision not to sign OBJ. OBJ, I think he got some delusions in his head because he doesn't want to play a regular season. He wants to just come in to play the playoffs. And then I'm sure he's going to want a brand new deal come the next season. I really think that he's asked out as far as this season goes. The two main teams that were speculated to sign him did not sign him. The only thing that I can see is him returning to the Giants. It's unfortunate we don't got our man X this time around. So you can speak on it hopefully on the next episode. But I think the Giants might be the only viable option, and that's if Brian Daboll wants to sign him, if he sees them fit. I mean, the Giants could be on their way to the playoffs right now. They're hanging on to the last seed. But we still have a lot of football to play here, folks. So it's 7 seeds, and we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I actually think he's holding them ransom, but yeah, let's see how that goes. We're talking about a man that wanted Bitcoin money instead of real money. So
Yeah.
let's move on from that.
Yeah. I don't think he's gonna get the bag. I don't even think he's gonna get the bag next season while playing a full season.
That's probably why he's doing all of this fiasco
Exactly.
because he needs that money.
And you know, I like to go ahead and touch on the
Speaking about the NFC East,
speaking of the NFC East,
man, the whole division could go to the damn playoffs. But let's talk about the headlines. All right.
all right, could Jalen Hurts be MVP?
I see no reason why not. Look at the stats. Look what he's done for his team, right? People are, some current players are talking smack. He said the system. He said the quarterback. Look, everybody has a system, and it's up to the player to go out there and perform. And this man is performing at the highest level at that position right now, right? Patty just does ridiculous plays because that's who Patty is. But man, they've only lost one game. This man's only thrown 3 picks. 3. How many rushing touchdowns?
10 rushing touchdowns. The man has 32 touchdowns through 14 weeks by himself.
I'm not gonna lie, right? There was a lot of heat around Jalen Hurts being a good pickup this year for fantasy. I didn't see it, especially after what he did kind of last year. I wasn't really truly impressed. And this year he's showing out. So right now he is definitely the front runner for MVP in my vote, my opinion. And he's also the quarterback with the most votes right now in the Pro Bowl for the NFC. Number 1 overall.
And those that have been following the show knew, especially in the beginning of the season, I had Jalen Hurts on the hot seat. I said this is his 3rd year. If we don't see any form of high performance coming from him and leading us into the playoffs in good form, then he will be in the hot seat. Philly, we're tough critics. All right, guys. If you can't perform within a certain amount of time, they get rid of you. All right. You're not McNabb. You're not Vic. You only got time, limited time there. All right. So Jalen Hurts cannot give Philly a better turnout to this season, except for winning a Super Bowl. They're 12-1. He scored 10 rushing touchdowns, over 600 rushing yards, 3,100 yards throwing yards, 22 touchdowns by himself, and 3 picks. All right. I don't think, and there's more to come. The season is not over, guys. There's still quite a few weeks to go before we start the playoffs. They already clinched, which means they don't have to try as hard, but I really don't think that they're going to include Gardner Minshew to start the rest of the season, maybe week 16 or 17, along those lines. But I don't see anyone else challenging Jalen Hurts' run for MVP this year. I think he's a hands down. It's one of those great seasons that we're seeing. And speaking of spectacular play, I know that Baker Mayfield got waived by the Carolina Panthers, only to be picked up by the Los Angeles Rams. And wow, guys, like it's unbelievable. This man briefly touched up the playbook on the private jet on his way to Los Angeles and conducted one of the best drives any quarterback in recent time has put together.
Amazing.
I mean, it was amazing 4th quarter performance against the Las Vegas Raiders, which I'm about to get into real quick, but let me get your take on that, bro.
I mean, no timeouts, 98 yards to go. You just picked up the playbook on the Southwest airline flight that you took. Confirmed, he said it himself. Yeah, went from rural North Carolina to
the big city, LA.
And you don't know these men. You don't know the playbook. You don't even know the verbiage. And you go out and orchestrate a 98-yard drive with no timeouts in a minute and some change.
Yeah. He's a damn good student of the game, let me tell you something.
Is this the confidence? Amazing. Is this the confidence, boost that leads Baker on and to become a viable starting quarterback in the league? Is this the start of some winnable games and lost season? Let's be honest, they're not making the playoffs. Nobody wants the Rams in the playoffs like that. But it would be nice to see Baker, run off some wins to end the season, and then let's see what team picks him up the following year. Because if that, there's nothing more dangerous than a confident athlete. This man right now is running on a high. This Sunday's going to be real interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be real interesting, and I just cannot believe the Raiders lose again to another mediocre team. I cannot believe that I cannot believe that Derek Carr let Baker Mayfield, a waived Baker Mayfield, shit on him late in the fourth quarter when you guys had the win. How do you give up a 90-yard drive? Get Derek Carr the fuck out of here, guys. He is not him. He's been in the Oakland Raiders and Las Vegas Raiders forever now, guys. He's never taking you anywhere near the promised land. I need you guys to get rid of Derek Carr. He is not him, guys. Get out of here, Vegas, with that shit.
The common denominator here is fraud. I'm going to use this word a lot. Shame on all of you that drafted Darren Waller, that drafted anybody from the Raiders, Devontae Adams, Derek. Shame on you if you started Derek Carr for more than 1 week in your league. But yeah, except for Josh Jacobs. That is the only shining bright star out there. Aside from that whole team's been a dud. Sucks to everybody that that thought otherwise. I am a Darren Waller fan. When he came out, I had picked him up, and he did me real good. But he's just not reliable anymore.
Darren Waller's a bit distracted, man. I'm gonna need that guy to stop with the rapping and the music videos, and let's get back to playing some football. Like, come on, man.
And even stay on the field, bro.
And stay on the field, stay healthy, man, so we can get these points. And I'm a Vegas fan, guys. If you've been following the show, what the disappointment Las Vegas has been the entire damn season. I've been Vegas all day. I don't usually go for West Coast teams, as you can see. I'm fitted out. But Vegas is one of those up-and-coming cities, and I really thought Derek Carr with the right weaponry was going to do some damage out in Vegas, all right? Especially with all the pressure of all the betting and all the bookies and all that shit going on out there, all right? I cannot believe that Baker Mayfield shitted on Derek Carr on any given Sunday. Moving on, bro.
It's Baker, baby.
What are these playoffs looking like, guys? All right, let's see the AFC. All right, looking tight. The AFC looking tight. We're going to start with the other side, all right? All right, Buffalo Bills heading the crown. They're tied right now with Kansas City.
10-3.
They're at 10-3. They're leading the pack. I don't have a doubt that they're gonna clinch the division. They're gonna clinch the conference. All right, so that takes care of 1 and 2, and then you got another deadlock between the Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay, so that should be interesting. As you guys know, Lamar is injured right now. So the Ravens are not looking too good.
Their backup is injured.
Their
running backs are injured.
So then that leaves Cincinnati. And Cincinnati is doing good. It's somewhat healthier than the Ravens are. So we got to be on the lookout for that. I think Cincinnati is going to go over the Ravens just because they don't have Lamar. They don't have Lamar to deal with right now. And then we have the Dolphins who are creeping up. Yeah. Shout out to the Dolphins.
We always there. We're going to be Buffalo this Saturday too.
I don't see the Tennessee, although I do see Tennessee Titans on a roll. I don't see them.
It's a weak division.
I don't see them going over the Dolphins for that playoff spot. I don't think we're comparing apples to oranges right now. I don't think that Tennessee can give Miami a run for their money.
They're not giving anybody fits. Right? Because their secondary is weak, and once you attack the secondary and you're putting up points, guess what? Their biggest threat, Derrick Henry, is no longer a factor because now you got to throw to catch up.
Yeah,
they're being scored on.
Yeah.
And that defense it's not it, and they lost their star on the whole line. It's not happening for that. That's a weak ass division and they're lucky. They should be considered lucky that they're in the playoffs. And then is New England.
New England got the 7th spot.
New England has the last and final wild card spot. Then it's Bengals and the Dolphins. Because currently right now the Ravens have the division right now. But I see them going down, and I see the Bengals going up, and that might change. And that might change the seeding. Let's see how this goes. We're getting our first snow game. I'm looking forward to the cold.
7 inches of snow this weekend, guys. You gotta be on the lookout.
Look, so the top seeds is Buffalo and Kansas. both of them places stay snowing in January. So I'm looking forward to some good January snow games come up in the playoffs. Who else is out there? Who else has home field advantage? Baltimore and Tennessee. Snow's out there too. I'm ready.
Exactly. And now you got to be on the lookout for the Chargers and the Jets because they're creeping up for that seventh spot, the wild card spot. And
it's a three-way tie, 7-6.
It's a three-way tie, but New England has it right now. You have the Chargers creeping up with Justin Herbert. He's a beast. The Chargers are pretty good when they're healthy. And the Jets, man, they've been a surprise to everybody all season.
Monster
They're just full of surprises. We know Zach Wilson is out of there. The backup is injured as well. And it's Flacco season all over again, which in my opinion is the guy who put them in that trajectory earlier this season. I think they started, what, like 4-0?
Something like that.
3-0 or 3-1 or something like that. And again, he put them on the right path at the start of the season. And then Zach Wilson came in and fucked everything up. So, let's see what happens. Moving on to the NFC. You already know, guys. I don't got to tell you. I just got to tip my hat off to you. You know who clinched it already. The only team in the NFL to clinch it, baby. The Philadelphia Eagles. We're number one out here.
12 Can't even talk shit because he's
12-1, baby. 12-1. The number one team in the league. Forget about it. All right, we got the Minnesota Vikings.
Frauds.
He says they're frauds. They're the number 2 team in the NFC right now. They got the number 2 spot. I see them clinching this week.
And they got that ass handed to them by Detroit, who's on the road, by the way. Shout out to anybody that has Detroit players right now in fantasy because I know they balling. Guess who helped me win last week in a must-win game? DJ Shark. Who has DJ Shark starting in the wide receiver lineup? Shit, barely nobody. But who got him?
Shark is a surprise as well, man.
Your boy, double-digit points needed, much needed.
So this one might be temporary, but they're gonna hang in there for as long as they can. The San Francisco 49ers.
Fuck them.
All right, so Jimmy Garoppolo done for the season. Christian McCaffrey struggling
on one leg.
Deebo Samuel
on one leg,
banged up. All right, so that put a juke as WR1. Okay,
on my
Christian
lineup.
McCaffrey. And
George Kittle,
Eli Mitchell, nowhere to be found.
Roger Mason.
Can Kittle stay healthy? I don't know. They're just one big ass question mark. You know what I mean?
Monster defense, but can you trust that offense?
All right. So then after that, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a losing record, are currently qualifying 4th seed in the NFC, and this is terrible, guys, because that entire division is just doing horrendous.
There should be. I can't wait for the league to bring this up when the owners get together. That a better record team should take that spot. If it's if a division winner is a losing team, because this has happened before.
This has happened before.
In the last 20 years. I think there's been 3 or 4 occasions where a losing team from a losing division makes the playoffs, And if you're about sportsmanship, if you're about level of competition and play, the NFL needs to address this because you're just setting up an easy win. You're setting them up against a team with a winning record that's just going to abuse them, and nobody wants to see that shit. You want to see evenly matched playoff worthy contenders going against one another. So hopefully this gets addressed, but no one's going to say shit because that's Tom Brady and Roger Goodell's. It'd be a cold day in hell before you don't let Tom Brady go to the playoffs. Tell you that.
Whatever sell tickets, guys, right?
It's got to go on. Giselle's gonna go to a home game. The headlines are gonna go through the roof. Brady's gonna throw for 5 tutties. I see it now.
It's gonna be a movie.
I see it now.
It's gonna be a movie. So let me tell you. All right. So I completely agree with that because in the past, even in our fantasy leagues, we used to do divisions. And divisions would actually cause the type of fiasco where we had losing records going right into the playoffs and increasing the chances of winning the championships as opposed to those who had great winning records and they were just in an overwhelmingly good division. So we essentially ended up getting rid of divisions altogether.
Mm-hmm.
And this is exactly why. This is exactly what happens. A 6-17 with the 4th seed of the playoffs followed by the Dallas Cowboys, who are 10-3, guys. How is Tampa Bay seating higher than the Dallas Cowboys with a losing record? That makes no sense.
It makes no sense. And they get a home game. And they get to play at home.
Right. So then after that, you got the Washington Commanders.
Surprising.
Who I don't think they're gonna surpass the Dallas Cowboys.
Henneke season.
And then the final seed is the New York Giants, which again I wish we had our man X hopefully next episode. Shout outs to him. And New York and Seattle are both tied at 7-5. And on the look, 7-5-1, sorry, because they have that draw. Actually, no, Seattle doesn't have a draw. They're 7-6.
It's the Commanders.
The Giants are 7-5-1, and the Commanders are 7-5-1. So
it's the Washington Redskins.
If the Seattle Seahawks continue to win, they can knock out either Washington or New York. It's gonna be a switcheroo, but they also have the Detroit Lions creeping up. So they're on a roll right now. Everybody seems to be getting back to being healthy. The Green Bay Packers, I don't see them making a good run, but you never know. They're 5-8, and they could go on the last minute run, but it's highly doubtful, guys. I don't really see Aaron Rodgers doing that anymore. And then the rest of the NFC is done, guys. They're just not making it.
It's pack-up season.
And it's a shame that Baker, we're speaking of Baker earlier, he went to a 4-9 team, homie. Ain't nothing going on. And let's not forget, guys, Matthew Stafford is still the starting QB in LA. So
he's leaving.
Looking like he's either gonna stay, he's gonna leave, or Baker's gonna become a backup. But this is the man that got LA their first Super Bowl in forever. Okay, like their first championship ever.
Since Warner.
Right. So but that wasn't St. Louis. We're talking about Los Angeles.
But it's still the same franchise.
We're talking Los Angeles, bro.
It's still the same franchise.
I feel you, but it's still Los Angeles. Los Angeles don't win no football championships. They won a fake. City. They got two teams at that: LA Chargers, LA Rams. So we'll see what happens, guys. The playoff picture has been clear as day. The next thing and the final thing I want to touch up, and I know we don't touch too much soccer up in this piece, but the World Cup is this final weekend, guys. It will be Argentina and France for the marbles. And I need to get your take on here because Messi gets his final shot to get that FIFA World Cup. As you know, he's an aging soccer player. There's been a lot of rumors of him coming to Inter Miami, all right, by David Beckham. And is his last shot, Bones? What do you think? You're a big soccer, analyst here, bro. You're all about the soccer culture. Who you got going on with the World Cup?
It upsets me every single time you say soccer.
I'm an American, baby. I'm an American.
It embarrassed me when that whole "it's called soccer" chant broke out.
Football.
It's football.
Football.
It's football, bro. It's the original football. It's the original football.
The original football is American football.
The most popular sport in the entire world. Bro, they average 1 billion viewers per World Cup final. That's insane numbers. Roger Goodell would lick ass in public for those ratings.
This guy.
He's like, we're editing. But it's Messi's last turn. I myself have nothing against the man. You can't deny his greatness. He's one of the best. To some, he's the best ever. But I just can't root for Argentina, man. I just can't root for those Germans. Germans.
You heard it here from the Peruvian.
In South America, it's a bloodbath. That Conmebol tournament is a bloodbath year in, year out. And Argentina acts like they shit don't stink. So Viva la France.
Viva la France.
They helped America in the Revolutionary War. Let's not forget that. So let's honor them by rooting for them as the Mbappe era. All right. I know Andre, the Bolivian Siberian. I know he's crying over this. I know because he's a huge Messi rider. But let's see how that goes, man. Let's see how that goes. I seen him alternate between teams this World Cup. He was going for Spain. Now he's going for Messi. Unheard of. South American. Show some pride, goddammit.
Listen.
They call you guys bootlickers out there.
Listen.
What do you think Argentinians think of Bolivians? How dare you? What would your ancestors say?
Listen. I have no horse left in this race. All right. My team was Brazil. It's always been Brazil. We grew up during the Brazil dynasty. All right, with Ronaldinho, Carlos,
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo, you name it, right? Those guys are beasts, right? All right. I was hoping for a Neymar Mbappe final
Fire.
or a Messi
And Ronaldo.
Ronaldo final. Obviously, we were all freaking wrong here, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and say it's the Mbappe era, okay? The kid already has a Finals World Cup. He is a top soccer player in the world right now, one of the highest paid players in the world right now, and he's in his second FIFA. He's only, what, 23 years old?
Yeah, he's about
in
to
his
get his second
World Cup, guys. I'm going to go ahead and go for France. France is prepared to win, guys. They have a squad on them. I'm sorry, Messi. You're probably going to go down as one of the grades. Ronaldo is going to go down as one of the grades, but they're not going to win no FIFA World Cups. And we shall see this at the end of this weekend, this Sunday. Argentina versus France. It's the Mbappe era, guys. You better book it. This kid is here for the next 20 years. And we'll see what happens, man. A lot of pride out on the streets.
3-2. It's
3-2.
Yeah, Argentina. I mean, Argentina's playing on all cylinders. They're doing it for Messi. All the players, that's their idol. They view him as a god, so they're doing it for him, and it's shown out. Messi's balling. So let's see how that goes. I wanted a Portugal Argentina final. That didn't happen, and but yeah, let's see it. France is star-studded, bro. You know how good they are, and they're missing two of their best players. They're missing Paul Pogba and they're missing Karim Benzema. So if they were there, I mean, it's a beautiful squad. Let's see how that goes. We could see our first repeat champions since 98, 2002 Brazil. So since then, there's been no repeat champions in the World Cup.
New dynasty, baby.
Let's see how that does. Most of that French team is back. And Vive la France.
Vive la France.
Vive la France.
It's the Mbappe era, guys. Let's see what happens, bro.
Down with Germany. I mean Argentina.
And that concludes our episode for today, guys. We've had a lot of fun here. Make sure you join us for episode 17.
17.
Shout outs to everybody that made the show possible. We're heading into the Christmas week and then New Year's. So make sure you connect with us, guys. Drop a comment, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Connect with us on Instagram at Raw Fantasy Sports. And we'll see you next episode.
Peace.